Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show. Govy, happy and a healthy new year. We are now at our, I don't know, fifth, sixth, ninth podcast studio. But we're still with the same people. Stella, is this considered Stella Mix? It is considered Stella Mix. They just have relocated to a new fancy office building, and we're in here. And I hope we're as funny as we always are in this new environment. It's always testing it out. Then we have chairs. Before we were at a table. How do you like sitting in a
I
chair?
don't know. Yeah, I think I kind of like a table.
The table, they can't see our bellies from a
Well,
table.
I like to be able to put things down on the
Yeah, I
table.
like that. Then you don't see our pieces of paper. It's
Well, we're working
I
out
like
for the
Joe
next time.
Rogan. He said Joe Rogan sits there behind that desk with like that neon sign. Can we get like a neon sign behind us?
Did you send the book to Joe Rogan?
I sent the book to Joe. Here it is.
Did he respond
He
yet?
did not respond. Joe, why are you not responding? The book is blowing up. Left foot, right foot, survival guide for business and life. In fact, everybody that has read it so far that I know that I've sent it to or they have bought it has texted me and said they really enjoy the short chapters. Every chapter's only 3 or 4 pages. So if you have ADD like I do, you can stay with the book. And it's better than these like novels where, remember Jim in the first chapter, he was the nephew of the sister's son,
Yeah.
and then on page 382, you have to remember who Jim was.
I agree.
None of that in here, folks.
Short and sweet here.
But we have a funny chapter in here about a mutual friend of ours, Big Eye. Big Eye is coming in now at 400 pounds. We were with him yesterday at the cigar bar. And Big Eye, we talk about him in the book. Everything he's ever done in his life, he has been incredibly successful, and then things just don't work out. When he was a penny stockbroker, he was the largest at the firm, and then it didn't work out. When he was at the flea market, had the number 1 table, and then it didn't work out.
Sold swimming pools.
Sold swimming pools. He was the number 1 swimming pool salesman in all Florida, and then it didn't work out. Now he's doing cell phones, and he's the number 1 cell phone, whatever. But the story about Big Eye, and Govy has a funny clip to it. He's going to the CMS convention?
It's the CES convention
CES.
in Las Vegas. That's also the same time as the porn convention, but it's the Consumer Electronics Show, and that's the line of work he's in. And he's flying out there.
He's flying out there, and Big Eye is 400 pounds. He bought 2 airline tickets on JetBlue because he wants 2 seats. He doesn't want, he just can't sit in 1 seat. So he bought the aisle, and he bought the middle seat. And I said, Big Eye, you do realize if the plane is oversold, they're taking that middle seat from you. They're going to put somebody in that seat. And he got furious. He said, there's no way. That's my seat. They can't take this. I said, I'm telling you, I sat on a plane last year where the woman bought a seat for her dog, her precious dog, and they took the seat away from her because the plane was oversold.
Do you know right now there's a story going on that they didn't? There was a person with the dog, and the person lost his seat to the dog. That he didn't get the seat.
Right.
And he lost it. The person that brought the dog got to put the dog in the seat, and the other guy had to catch.
Did he buy the extra seat?
No, he wanted to come onto the plane.
Oh.
And there was no seats left, but there was a person that had a dog with a seat, and they said that the dog's entitled to the seat.
So anyway, we called a friend of mine, Captain Todd, who's captain of a flies 787s or some jumbo jet. And he was in the military for a whole bunch. Now he's 20 years at this airlines. And we asked him for a ruling. Are they going to take Big Eye's seat away from him? And he said they're going to send a CRO officer back to the seat, something I forget what that means. But you do understand, when you're at the airport, there's all these people standing at the desk begging for a seat. And then they say, well, does anybody want to volunteer their seat, give up their seat for money or 2 extra seats or 3 extra seats? And then maybe somebody's going to say, no matter what, I'll take that extra seat. Then they're going to go back and see the big eye is sitting in that seat, like he's over the seat. But anyway, so Big Eye now, I think Govy and I have him convinced that he may lose the seat. So he's starting to come up with a price. He's willing to pay. He's up to $2,000. If somebody gives him $2,000, the airlines gives him $2,000, he'll give up this seat.
No one's giving him $2,000 because no one wants a middle seat for $2,000.
But the airlines may pay him. Would the airlines pay for the seat?
No.
You don't
and
think so?
And they're not taking his seat. I'm telling you, there is no armrest discussion when it comes to him. There is no armrest. So.
Yeah, but if you say, I'll take the seat, I'll take a middle seat, and you don't realize that Big Eye, who has a seat and a half, is next to you, and then you walk all the way back to almost the bathrooms to see where you're sitting, and now you see that middle seat, are you getting off the plane or are you taking it?
I don't know. I think I would see what the lounges I would maybe take the next flight. This is a morning flight. There's other flights out there.
He's taking a morning flight?
Yeah, a morning flight.
All right. So, Govy, we had New Year's here in Florida, and it was kind of like I didn't do much. Did you stay around, or did you go to were you at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't at Mar-a-Lago, but I got to tell you, it seems like Melania and Laura Trump, they had a great time. Elon Musk got up. The YMCA song was going full blast.
Now, Laura Trump sang at the
She
thing.
did sing. Good voice.
Now, let me ask you this question, Govy.
Oh, here it comes.
Wait a second. Let me ask you this question. The Trump family, look, I admit I was wrong on Harris. I was on the wrong side of the election. But the Trump family, Donald Trump, this is his 3rd or 4th wife, right?
Third.
Don Jr., got rid of his wife of 6 kids, had 5 or 6 kids with her. And
he didn't quite get rid of her because she's at Trump International all the time with the kids, and her daughter's a great golfer, and they're very close with Donald Trump. So obviously she has a pretty good relationship still.
Traded her in for Kimberly Guilfoyle, formerly Mrs. Gavin Newsom, right?
And now the new
now he just traded, Don Jr. just traded her in for some socialite in Palm Beach who's like 30. How old's Don Jr.?
Don Jr. is in his mid-40s. So he traded, basically he went down 17 years.
Okay, so this Laura Trump really thinks she's in. I don't think she got the memo that these guys, like the Trump guys, they don't have a problem trading.
No, she's more than that, though.
She thinks she's in. She didn't get the memo. She can get traded in. I mean, she has to roll it back a little.
She is in. She is in because she ran the RNC. She helped get Donald Trump elected as president. She's in more than the other ones. So she's actually more loyal. She's more loyal than his own daughter, Ivanka. Because Laura Trump stood there and said, I'm with you. I'm riding with you.
She did do that.
Ivanka Trump said, January 6th, see ya. She was out, done. You didn't hear from her for anything. Now, Ivanka's basically...
She didn't even campaign for her father. And she had a huge suburban mom following.
But Ivanka has one thing up her sleeve. You know what that is? It? She lives next door to Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos is now coming around. He was
another guy that traded his wife.
Yeah, but you know what they say? They show you 2 pictures of Jeff Bezos' wife. One was Amazon, one's Amazon Prime. On the 2 different things. But
the new wife, she's seen more ceilings than my painter.
But Jeff was out in Aspen.
Been out there for a while.
Jeff was out in Aspen with the Kushners. So they're becoming friends.
Oh, so now Ivanka
is friendly with Jeff and his wife. And just so happens, Jeff wants to be close with her father because
he's
Elon
working
Musk,
his daughter angle.
And they're next door neighbors, so it does make sense that next door neighbors are like, you want to come to Aspen? Come on my G650.
Wow, this is juicy gossip. What Govy is saying, because Jeff Bezos took the wrong team.
Right.
And Elon Musk was on the right team. Now Jeff Bezos is working the daughter angle to get to the father.
Which is his next door neighbor, which is, you want to be friendly with your neighbors, and it's not so bad that you're both going to Aspen and someone says, come to my, 50,000 square foot home. I'll fly you out there. Oh, and by the way, New Year's, I'm going to maybe come and see your dad. How's that? Oh,
Right.
That's great.
And well, also Ivanka, if she becomes friendly with Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos, she'll be guaranteed her Amazon packages are delivered on time.
Right. Don't forget, Ivanka's back into the making clothes and fragrance.
Wow, great angle,
and that
Govy.
goes
Ivanka's using them.
Is using them for Amazon.
Bezos is using her. She's using them. Because now Amazon's going to sell the Ivanka collector's line.
Right.
Wow, Govy.
And don't forget, Donald Trump now has his own cologne now. Do you see? Why is he pushing watches, sneakers, cologne?
Yeah, what's he doing with
And he's
that?
on the commercials. Like, what's next? What's he going to push next? And how much money does he make on this?
Well, how much do those commercials cost? I don't understand, the economics of it. A commercial's got to cost thousands of dollars. Now, you sell a pair of sneakers. How much do you get for a pair of sneakers?
I think Trump can go up to Fox. This, I forget her name, Jane Scott or something, runs it. But he could say to Fox, if you don't give me a good deal on these commercials, I'm just going to take another one of your anchor people and make him ambassador. He's going through.
Right.
I mean, look at the Fox News, what he has. He has the Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah.
He's in there. He's one. You got Pete Hegseth. He's going to be of defense.
Now, Don, I know you 20 years. I would have taken the ambassadorship to Bumfuckville, wherever in the world. You could have sent me there. I would have taken the least likely country. I wouldn't have went to an Arab country.
I'm surprised you didn't get one. I mean, he gave out. His friend got Portugal. Someone just got from Miami that helped him with High League. Just got Panama.
Would you go to Cuba? Ambassador to Cuba?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I would go to Cuba.
Good cigars.
Well, you know what? It's not that far from Miami. You can fly in and out of Miami. You're allowed to leave.
Like somewhere like Nicaragua or something.
I wouldn't go there.
Okay, some like Venezuela, some like
wouldn't go there.
Communist country. You wouldn't go there?
No. Would you go to Italy?
Yeah, of course. And I come back 60 pounds heavier in 4 years. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in Italy? I'd hang out with the Pope.
So I got to ask you, this terrorist attacks.
Which one?
The one, though, in Vegas.
Right.
So here is where everybody can put their detective hats on. So it was a Tesla that the guy rented, and it blew up outside of Trump Towers. So there was definitely a message there.
What's the message? Trump and Elon?
Yeah.
Are hanging out together.
Together, and he specifically rented. By the way, there's a website, Turo. Turo is a website that you can go on and you can rent cars privately.
This is new. Can I maybe take this pillow from behind me? Can I do that?
Yes. So this Turo is you can now rent people's private cars. So if you ever want to do anything crazy, it's not like you're going to Avis or Hertz or anything. You rent it from a private person, and you can give a fake license, you can give a fake ID. And that's what both these terrorists did. One was in New Orleans, the other one was in Las Vegas. But what's crazy is...
So wait, time out. So folks, Govy's saying that maybe a little conspiracy theory, I don't know what your point is. Both of these terrorist attacks, they both rented this off-brand Turo car rental company. You actually rent a car from an individual. Somebody... I guess Turo is the middleman.
It's like the Uber of car rental. So if you wanted to rent your car out that you're not using it for like 4 or 5 days, you can rent your car.
Let's say my lease is $700 a month and I can't afford it. Maybe through Turo, I can rent my car, you're saying, for 7 of the days and get enough money to pay for my lease.
Exactly. And you're not even tracking the people, like, because, they can give you a fake license or whatever like that.
Right.
But anyway, the guy who killed himself, he shot himself before the Tesla truck blew up. If anybody ever sees Reacher, the show Reacher that was on
Jack Reacher?
Jack Reacher. Well, that not the one with Tom Cruise, but the new one out. This guy looked just like him. This was a special ops military guy that looks just like Reacher. And
Why'd he blow himself up?
well, we don't know that yet, but it was,
Well, talking about not knowing anything, it's kind of crazy. Like the healthcare guy, like in a day, you literally knew this GQ U of P student, whatever he was, that he shot the healthcare guy. You knew everything about him, his parents, his life, blah blah blah. Then this guy right away that mowed all these people down in New Orleans within hours. You know who he was. His whole backdrop. Why is it months and months later we know nothing about this guy from Butler, Pennsylvania that assassinated Trump?
well, that's part of a problem that's going on right now. Senator Kennedy of Louisiana basically said he will get all the information, bad or good, and he thinks that the American people should hear what's going on. I think one of the big things was this guy on the radar? My guess is he probably was in some way, but you had Ray, the head of the FBI, Ray, and you had Garland. They basically were concentrating so much on January 6th, being in the churches, white supremacists. You got these terrorists in our country. That's obvious stuff. I mean, they were worried too much about an old lady that walked into the Capitol building, and
They put a lot of resources and time, but this guy, was he radicalized? The guy from New Orleans?
there's a lot they don't want to tell you.
He has an Arab name, right?
Yeah, Jabbar or something, and not Kareem. But there's a lot that they don't want to tell you. I think they don't want you to know that how many cells are in the United States that you can.
What does a cell mean? I don't even know.
More than one, like groups of people. That's
Right.
like a cell in an area. But what was interesting is they postponed this Sugar Bowl. And it wasn't just any ball game. It was one of the playoff games that's coming. And it was between Georgia and Notre Dame. So you got literally 30,000 Notre Dame fans, 30,000 Georgia fans, and maybe 25,000 other fans that are there. Not to mention all the people that are just walking down Bourbon Street. Now, the barriers that can go up and down to block any cars from going down Bourbon Street wasn't working. And they took them out for repair so they could have them ready for the Super Bowl, which is in February, first week of February. There is no difference between a Super Bowl in February and the head of the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. They're equally as important. If it wasn't ready, they should have put 2 dump trucks like you see around.
Right.
Big, huge dump trucks.
School bus.
And block it so this doesn't happen. And to make things a little crazy, the woman who was the police chief, who looks like she's 90 years old, she was a police detective in Oakland. She was ran the Oakland Police Department. She got fired. She sued, won, got $1.5 million. And then this past August, she ran over 2 people in her car in New Orleans.
So why did she win $1.5 million? Why they fired her? Because she was drunk? She got a DUI or something happened to her?
I'm not sure why. I mean,
I think there was a traffic incident. I may be wrong. I
right,
don't know.
but she won $1.5 million, and now she's
Maybe she was in that. Was she the one in the golf cart where the police stopped them and she said, "Do you know who I am?" kind of thing, and it was on video. It was on his body cam?
I don't think so.
No?
But New Orleans isn't this like. Isn't Boca Raton, Florida, where someone comes down and says, you're a police chief? You're a police chief of New Orleans. It's pretty seedy.
Yeah, big.
I mean, and it's seedy. It's not like,
But it's if something happens in Delray Beach or Boca Raton, Florida, I mean, this is a tourist town. They make a lot of money on tourists.
So
Same as New Orleans. Yeah.
French Quarter.
They can't afford, like, this bad publicity.
Right, French Quarter, going down there, you're walking down, and by 3 o'clock in the morning to New Orleans is like 9 o'clock at night in Delray.
So let me ask you this. Why does she still have her job? I mean, why didn't they do preparation if the ballots are down and they can't, and they The street's not blocked off. Why aren't they putting
Well, she's
trucks
claiming that if anybody wants to do something and they're hell-bent on doing
I
it,
agree with that.
they can get away with doing it. The question that you have to really say to yourself is, if you're New Orleans, is she the best person that you could hire? She just got fired from Oakland. Really? Like, there's no one else that you could bring up that you decide to bring
And she's pretty old.
old? I mean, like...
Like
you
old.
can't get a person from the military or someone from fourth in command in New York, except New York, everybody that's fourth in command, fifth in command, they're all indicted.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
all
think
having sex with the head guy. All of
they're
them
all
are making
going for overtime.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in New York,
They're all making $400,000 a year, working 200 hours a week.
They were basically saying, "What you get for your overtime pay?" And they said, "You won't want to know what I had to do for overtime." But
Look, I'm a Democrat, and I don't like to speak ill of my party that I'm almost no longer affiliated with. I'm kind of a Republican now or whatever. But it's almost like Joe Biden wants to do as much damage as he humanly possibly can before Trump can get into office so he can say, Donald,
I don't
you
think
go
he knows.
try and fix this now. Somebody does. Barack Hussein
someone
Obama or
wants to do
somebody.
it, but not him, because he doesn't even know what's going on.
But somebody, look, he let out all these 50. How many people did he just?
1,500 people.
1,500 people he paroled. I think in the middle of the night, somebody stuck that piece of paper under his nose, or Jill, when he was sleeping, took his hand.
Well, you know what?
This.
It's interesting. But here's what one victim's parents said. I heard this was moving. One of the people that were paroled, that was on death row, killed her daughter in a bank, shot her in the back of the head. And when they found out that Joe Biden pardoned them, she said that she doesn't understand that when Special Agent Orr was investigating Biden and said we can't prosecute him because he's incompetent, he's too old, and we can't charge him. And that was 1.5 years ago. And she's saying, if 1.5 years ago the guy's incompetent, why is he competent to make a decision on if this guy should go from death row to not, and it affects her daughter? She thinks if the guy's incompetent to make decisions, he's incompetent to make all decisions. And right now, this guy has 20 days left. His teleprompter went off yesterday. As he was speaking about these terrorist things, when the teleprompter stopped, he stopped his speech. He stopped cold until they could get it back up again. He's incompetent, and it's scary.
You make a great point. If the man is incompetent to stand trial, why is he competent to parole 1,500 bad guys?
Or have the nuclear football.
Well, hopefully there's enough people in the room that'll be able to, dissuade him from pushing the red button. But
Do you want him to even, this guy is out to lunch,
I don't know if Congress has to be involved in that. I don't think you can just push the nuclear button. I think there's a lot of people involved in it. But you're right. I mean, how many more pardons? You have 19 days. How many other pardons? We know his brother. We know he's going to pardon himself. His sister. We think he's going to pardon Barack Obama. Because
Menendez, all these guys.
But there's going to be some bad pardons out there. Hopefully, he can give us a blanket pardon for the rest of our life if we do something wrong.
Let me ask you this question. How do you think this went down? When Jimmy Carter passed away, who, by the way, is in my lifetime the worst president I've ever seen. But I will say, after
you did have Billy beer. Did you ever drink Billy
beer?
beer?
Was his brother. But after his presidency, he really is a good guy. He was a guy that volunteered. He was just a horrible president, but he's a good person. Where Joe Biden, I don't think is a good person. I just think he's a vindictive guy. He thought he can make the rules. I mean, I can imagine the phone call when Jimmy Carter died and someone had to call him on the U.S. Virgin Islands and say, Joe, you got to come back from your vacation. We gotta bury Jimmy Carter. And I think Biden said, well, what's Barack doing? They said, well, we're calling him next in Hawaii. And then I think Barack Obama said, put him on ice for 2 weeks.
Well, they did. They put him on ice
until January 9th.
But
he's on ice.
Lorne Michaels, who runs Saturday Night Live, please call Govy and I. We want to be on the skit of what the front row of the funeral looks like with Michelle Obama sitting next to Jill Biden, sitting behind Melania or next to Donald Trump.
Kamala Harris is right there. That's also sitting there.
So at that funeral, like, who's higher up the scale, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, the next president, or the current president?
Well, I think Joe Biden says to Barack Obama, you shouldn't have pulled me. I could have won this thing. Barack Obama says, it was Nancy Pelosi. It wasn't me. Kamala Harris says, I had nothing to do with this. They just threw me in there. Joe Biden thinks I could have won. Barack Obama says, you didn't have a chance no matter what. Fetterman says, I could be the front runner now.
Right.
Our
now
party is so
again.
bad. A guy literally that can't talk is a front runner. They're even mentioning him that he could be president. Donald Trump's just looking at it like, I'll be nice to everybody right now. I'm making nice things. I'll say nice things about Jimmy Carter.
Right. Well, who says the urology for that? Who does that?
The eulogy for this?
Urology.
Urology.
Who does the urology? Is that Joe Biden, the president of the United States, has to eulogize the one?
Well, we need a teleprompter.
Oh, yeah. How's that work?
Wouldn't it be great if Trump did it? But
how could Trump do it?
Why not?
He's not president.
He speaks the best out of everybody right now.
I know.
I don't know who says it. Maybe Chuck Schumer.
Let's think. George W. Bush did it for his father, but I don't think he was still the president. Trump was the president then. Right. Yeah. That was the last guy that died.
Yeah, that was the last. Ginsburg had a big thing. The Supreme Court.
Right. But isn't it remarkable the health care that these presidents get? They all live to be 90 or 95 or 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lived to 100.
Even the wives. Wives.
Yeah, she lived to pretty old.
99
right?
or 98.
99, right? And then George H.W. Bush lived in his 90s.
They wanted his Ford. That's why they had the Betty Ford Clinic.
Even this Bill Clinton, no matter, he's like the $6 million man. They keep changing parts on him, and he keeps going.
By the way, Jimmy Carter survived brain cancer, I think prostate
cancer.
Yeah.
He lived in hospice for a year. Nobody lives in hospice for more than 3 weeks. He lived a year in hospice. Think about it.
Not even 3 weeks. I'm talking, when they tell you hospice,
that's it.
They already have a person taking your bed in 48 hours.
My dad was in hospice 2 weeks. That's it.
Did you ever hear of hospice for 2 hours? For 2 years?
2 years he's in hospice. When he came out of hospice for Rosalind, what's her name? Roseanne, his wife's funeral, and they wheeled him in like that, laying down. I'm like, my God, 2 years in hospice.
He came real close to going into hospice under Biden and coming out under Trump.
You know what makes you feel really old, though? So we lived through the Jimmy Carter presidency. Amy Carter is like 73.
Yeah, is that crazy?
Is that crazy? I remember she was a kid.
Yeah.
And when somebody said she's 73 years old, I said, Amy Carter?
I thought she was late 60s, but, still, it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Amy Carter. Geez.
So that's going to be,
But it's going to be, I'll tell you what's going to be very similar. The first day Ronald Reagan took office, they released the Iranian hostages. Here's my prediction. My prediction is on the very first day, Donald Trump is going to bomb wherever ISIS is at. He's going to know that there's certain targets. He's doing a bombing on January 20th. It's going to be to ISIS, and he's going to send a message, this is what's coming. And Hamas, and they didn't release the hostages, so he's going to take some, and he warned them, he's not going to go off of his word. He said there will be hell to pay if the hostages aren't released. I truly believe he's going to do something. It's not going to just be words. That's the one thing that, people are tired of hearing, Americans are tired of hearing Joe Biden saying, don't. How many times did he say don't? And they did.
So, do you think Donald Trump skips the inauguration and the balls just to sign executive orders all day? He's just going to be at the desk signing this, signing that.
No,
He's
he has
just
to
gonna
be there because he's inviting. I think he invited the Prime Minister of Italy. I mean, he's inviting dignitaries from around the world.
Do you see Elon Musk for the first time had a date New Year's Eve at Mar-a-Lago?
Did she put the kid on her shoulders too?
No, he brought the wife of the kid. He brought his
He has a lot of, he had that, he had the one that he was dating or had a kid with, no, didn't have a kid with, the one that was with Johnny Depp.
What do you think his child support payment is for each kid?
Do you think he's worried about child support?
Oh my God, it's got to be a lot of money, right?
He made a lot of money. I don't think he's
like,
worried.
I think Kevin Costner was paying his wife $200,000 a month in child support, child support.
Yeah, but I think they knocked that down.
Maybe, okay, so they knocked it to 100, whatever it is. If Kevin Costner, who got fired off of Yellowstone's paying 100 a month, what's Elon Musk paying? Got to be a lot, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it doesn't make a difference.
I guess not.
But he has his favorite. His favorite is the one that's on his shoulders.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the names are weird. Sometimes it can be
X. It's X. It's X. Everything's XI, XO, XI.
X.
So, Govy, you're on the hottest streak on this football. I mean,
I hit a little. I went 1-3. I hit a little.
We lost the game 13-4.
Yeah, we were, but I lost one game that went into overtime. We had the game won.
Yeah.
In regulation, and then even in overtime, if it's just a field goal, we win because it was 4.5, but it ended up being 6. It was a wacky game.
So this week, I guess it's considered week 17 or 18, because of the bye or whatever. I mean, the Eagles are sitting half their team. They don't want anybody to get hurt.
This is a very dangerous week to be gambling. Inside information
you
is
can't
the
gamble
game.
this week.
I have 3 games.
How can you bet a game?
Because these 3 games mean something.
Okay.
Cincinnati -2 over Pitt. Cincinnati still has a shot to get into the playoffs. Cincinnati is one of the better teams in the league right now. So Cincinnati -2 over Pittsburgh. I like Atlanta -8 over Carolina. Atlanta lost last week.
Yeah.
They still need help, but they have a shot. And I think they're gonna blow out Carolina.
I like their own.
And then there's Minnesota at 14-2 is playing Detroit at 14-2. Winner takes the division and a bye because they also end up with the best record. So you win the division, you get a bye for a week. Loser gets the number 5 seed and has to play Tampa Bay.
That's a great, interesting
So
match. Detroit.
I like Minnesota +3. I like the game a lot.
Where's the game?
Minnesota +3 over Detroit in Detroit, and I like.
What's the weather going to be like?
It's indoors, and
it's indoors.
And I like Minnesota on that one.
So, I mean, that's interesting. They're both 14-2. So everybody's going to have to, and they're playing for the title. That everybody's going to have to play their starters for the whole game.
Right.
You can't sit anybody.
Right. So they have to play. So while they get the winner of that game gets a bye next week, the Eagles are going to take their bye this week, basically.
Yeah, that's interesting because they're going to need the bye because everybody's going to be beat up from a tough game.
Right. So, but the loser doesn't. The loser ends up 14-3 with the second best record in all of football, and they have to go on the road to play Tampa Bay.
Wow.
So that's a big game. I mean, could determine your whole season. And the Philadelphia Eagles made a decision that they are not going to play Saquon Barkley. And he was ready to break a record that lasted for 40-some years, Eric Dickerson's record, and he's not going to play.
I think they play him.
They're not.
I don't think they start him, but I think they stick him in. Maybe whenever.
Nope, not happening.
If they're way ahead and they're killing the other team, and they see a path that they could stick him in and get a quick 100 yards, that's all he needs, right?
It's 100 yards. You ask your offensive lineman to come. No, you're not risking injury. They already told him.
He could blow 35 yards.
It's not happening. He's not happening.
If he's up against second and third stringers,
it's a shame, and it would have gone against the New York Giants, who we don't like. Yes,
So,
I am a New York Knicks fan. 9-0, 9-game winning streak. I'm telling you, Leon Rose, Wes Wesley, getting Karl Anthony Towns was the trade of the year. They are the best team in the East.
Okay, you are the savant of professional sports. You're Shaquan Barkley's agent, where he literally can walk away with the title if they play him. They're not going to play him. He doesn't get the record. You're his agent negotiating the next contract.
There is no next contract. It's 3 years. When he's done with Philadelphia, he'll be glad if they just sign him for less. It's like
How old is
Ezekiel
he?
Elliott. He's at the. This will be his 3-year contract, and it's over. And by the way, it's the worst thing that ever happened to the New York Giants.
Yeah,
they
I
don't
mean,
even
they
know how to
traded-
lose correctly. I mean, like they had the number 1 overall draft pick, and there's 2 quarterbacks, and they need a quarterback. They're now drafting 5, and they really don't realize that the Philadelphia Eagles are losing this game on purpose so the New York Giants can get the 15th pick in the
So I
draft.
guess Jalen Hurts sits because of his concussion,
He's
right?
sitting. The whole team is sitting. The whole team is sitting.
This is
We
a
have
real-
our 3rd-string quarterback coming in. Now, if you want to know whose agent's happy, is the Philadelphia Eagles' 3rd-string quarterback. 'Cause
Right.
if he has a really good game, he's going to say, guys, there's going to be some team out there that's going to want him, and the Eagles will probably trade him for, like, a 3rd-round pick.
So the Christmas holidays are done here in Boca Raton. All the restaurants just killed it. I mean, unless I could get to a restaurant at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I didn't go out.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. I know you went out a lot. But Monday, when was Christmas? I'm losing my train of thought. The day after New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve was Sunday?
No, New Year's Eve was like
when?
2 days ago.
I don't even know. But wherever the hell I was the day after New Year's Eve. The day after New Year's Eve. No, it was,
That was last night.
No, it was the day after Christmas. I'm getting
Okay.
old. I'm losing my brains. I was at a restaurant the day after Christmas. They had 600 reservations
Wow.
for the night. Trattoria Romano. I mean, is that insane?
Yeah, they're just...
Like you would think everybody's blew their wad already. They're
just
done.
But you know what's funny? Everybody gives them a shot, but if they're not good, they're not even around next year. These restaurants. That's how good you have to be down here.
How
I mean,
can you
New
make-
Yorkers know their food. I gotta tell you.
But how can you make good food? 600 dinners. How could it possibly be good?
I don't know.
How could your plates even be clean? How can they wash the
My
dishes?
rule of thumb is you don't order the fish because you don't know where the fish is coming
Right.
from. Especially my wife always orders fish on Tuesday or Wednesday. I always tell her the fish comes in on Thursday. Why do you order? And it's like a habit. She just keeps ordering it.
Why Thursday?
Because the restaurants and stuff, they get the boats come in so they can have fresh fish for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. By
I
Tuesday,
just learned
lobster, for instance, is going into lobster salad by that time. My wife chooses to have her salmon and ahi tuna on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Gavi, this was a really quick show. Do you want to talk about anything else before this is like a short week or a confused week. I don't know what day it is. It's our Thursday, but it just
Yeah,
seems
we
like-
have this football game going on right now. Georgia's playing Notre Dame. When they postponed this game, everybody thinks it's only one day, but it's not. It's the air travel, the people that have to get rid of their seats, hotels,
restaurant reservations.
by the way, if you're a sponsor and you had 8:30 at night on New Year's Day night, which is like everybody's at home after New Year's, everybody's watching this game. How do you go up to your sponsors and put this game on at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon? Like, you got to get your money back.
Well, it's just how do you block off the whole TV schedule? How do you change?
They had
everything?
nothing on TV last night.
Let's assume, God forbid, there's another terrorist attack or two more before the Super Bowl. You have tickets to the Super Bowl. You going?
It's in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm saying, let's say there's
If
two
it's the
more
Eagles,
cells.
Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills
You're
are my
taking
second
a
favorite
chance.
team.
You're taking a chance. You don't care. You're
No,
winging
because
it.
I think football's made for television. I've been to like 13 Super Bowls. I'm done with Super Bowls.
The thing I don't understand is the schedule. The college championship game is on the day of the inauguration,
And
January 20th. Who's looking at a calendar?
one's a night game.
I understand, but think about the FBI, the Secret Service, all the security, all the police. I mean, all across America. Why are you putting two giant events on at the same day?
I don't know, but I'll tell you who's going to go through on a breeze. This one thing, Trump's picks. This Kash Patel, who's going to run the FBI, they want him in there now. I mean, like this is not going to be hard to get all of his guys in. They're all coming in. I think Pete Hegseth, they're all coming in.
But this Kash Patel says he's letting out the information on the JFK files. Do you care who killed JFK?
Well, I know it was the CIA that killed him.
You think they're going to say that? The CIA killed JFK.
I think there was no. I don't think they're going to say so.
He said he's putting it out.
Yeah, so I was curious. There were some bad people that they had reasons.
How about if they say Lyndon Johnson killed him? Lyndon Johnson hadn't killed him.
Well, I wouldn't be able to.
Mob killed him,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the mob killed him.
Well, people were saying that because of
Jimmy Hoffa.
because they were saying that Robert F. Kennedy they put the mob put John F. Kennedy in the office to make sure that he handles his brother, not to go after on the RICO of all the mob guys, and he didn't.
And Kash Patel says he's going to put out all the information on January 6th.
And Epstein.
And Epstein. I don't think he puts out Epstein.
And P. Diddy.
I think he puts out P. Diddy. I don't think Epstein will ever come out.
By the way, P. Diddy spent New Year's at this jail with the guy that killed the...
Yeah, the healthcare guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a party. They were drinking, Dom Perignon. He had it shipped in.
The healthcare guy who killed him has a better chance of getting out than P. Diddy. I got to tell you something. Some of these stories that are coming out with the people involved with P. Diddy, it's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah, but the healthcare guy, they're saying this guy was a stone cold assassin. He was put up to the job because of this. This healthcare guy sold some stock. It was insider trading and all this conspiracy stuff. I love it.
Remember my prediction. The guy
He gets off?
Getting off to me is 5 years in a mental institution or whatever is getting off. Because he's looking at the death penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was a coward. He shot a guy in the back. The guy had no shot. I mean...
No, when he fell down, he went up to him.
He shot him again, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. No, he hit him from behind. He hit him in the leg. Yeah, in the leg. And then when the guy went down, he went over and
shot him in the head or something.
Pumped a couple bullets in him. Anyway, Govy, great show. Shout out to Ashley. Was on the show last week.
She'll be coming back. She's going to fly in.
You said you were going to fly in.
She is. Well, right now she has
I don't know. Where would she go on our new podcast?
We'll put her over here.
Right, all right.
We'll put her right there.
Would you have another camera? How's that work? If we have a guest, they go over here with a third camera? All right. We are here at Stella Mix. Are we in Delray or Boca? Delray. We're in
closer to Boca, but Delray.
We're closer to Boca, but we're still in Delray. All right. Stella Mix, new podcast studio.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.